Hello, sir. Quick question for you. We go all over the country just asking people a few quick questions on their advice to the younger generation of kids starting out in the real world today. We thought you had a beautiful house. Wanted to know if we could ask you a few quick questions for the channel. Hey, he opened that up, so. And you guys see the Lamborghini. He's got the Aston Martin out. Got a whole bunch of cars. We gotta figure out what this guy did to be able to put himself here. Excuse me, sir. Is this your house?
It is.
What do you do for a living, man?
I don't know.
Los Angeles is the #6 city in the entire world with the most millionaires. Today, we're gonna be going all over Los Angeles, Bel Air, Beverly Hills, and Calabasas, asking multi-million-dollar homeowners how they became successful and how you can start your path to becoming wealthy in 2023. We're right now in the hidden hills of Bel Air, one of the most expensive and wealthy neighborhoods in the entire country. And with that being said, let's get this video on the way. So growing up, I always used to hear about how Beverly Hills had all these multi-million-dollar mansions where all your favorite rappers and movie stars live. Well, today, we're gonna be going up to these homes for ourselves. I wanna run into some of the craziest people in the entire city to figure out what they did to put themselves in these multi-million-dollar houses. They got the Bentley parked out front. We're gonna go up to the door, ask this multi-million-dollar homeowner how they were able to put themselves here. Let's see what they have to say. Excuse me, ma'am. Quick question for you. My brother and I, we go all over the country. We're based in Austin, Texas. We grew a channel to over 2 million followers where we go all over the country just asking beautiful homeowners a few questions on their advice to the younger generation. Wanted to know if we could ask you just a few quick questions for the channel.
I'd love to. Come on in.
Is that cool?
Yes.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Thank you. How long have you been an entrepreneur for?
22 years.
What industry did you pursue a career in?
Well, I was a former model, but when that was over, I went into renovating homes and then building homes.
So you've been an entrepreneur for a long time now. Over that period of time, what's the greatest lesson about entrepreneurship that you've learned that you pass on to someone who's about to start their first business in 2023?
Well, one of the things that I love to teach my son is take a risk. Take a risk. You know, I had nothing, and I just believe that if you believe in yourself and you believe in what you do, then the chances are you will be a success.
What would you say has been the most amount of money that you've ever generated in a single year?
Cover your ears, cover your ears, cover your ears. Well, my last property I made 3.5 million on my last property.
That's incredible.
Look at that face, look at the face. Now he definitely wants to come into my business, don't you? Yes.
Wow.
But I'll make more on this one.
How are you able to scale from 6 to 7 figures and then just from beyond there?
Yes. So I was very lucky that I was able to reinvest my profit over and over and over. And what that did was that allowed me to get larger and larger and larger. And then the other thing that you can do is do a 1031 exchange. And what that does, it allows you to push out your taxes because you roll in your profit into your next build. So that just allows you to go bigger and bigger and bigger. Eventually, you're going to say, okay, I've got to stop now.
Yeah.
But yes, that's a very handy tool as well.
And my final question for you, you've got one of the most beautiful houses I've been in. This is a multi-million-dollar house. What would you say is the best advice that you'd pass on to the younger generation?
Well, I'm a great believer in hard work pays off, and so he actually has my gene. He is me. He's my mini me. So hard work, stay focused. I tell him this every day, don't I? Know your goal, focus on the goal, and don't stop until you get there.
I love it. Phenomenal advice. Great interview. Thank you so much for
very
your time. I
much.
really appreciate that.
Thank
Gio, thanks for joining us, man. All right, you guys, that was an absolutely insane experience. She invited us into her house, was a former model, and is now a real estate developer in Los Angeles, one of the most competitive industries to be in. And she is a multi-millionaire. She's an absolute mogul. Had her son out to teach him the financial lessons, but you can tell he's gonna be very successful one day. Los Angeles is absolutely insane, man. Keep this going. Hello, sir.
Yeah?
Question for you. Thought you had a beautiful house. Want to know if we could ask you just a few quick questions.
No, I would like to opt out.
What's that?
I would like to opt out.
No worries, sir. Have a good day.
All right.
Even though we started the day off with a crazy first interview, over the next 6 hours, we had no idea what was coming our way. Hi, my name is James Dumlin. Wanted to know if we could ask you or someone a few quick questions on your advice to the younger generation.
You know, I'm kind of busy right now. Why don't you just move on? And I just don't really have time right now.
No worries.
Damn it, bro.
Hi, ma'am. Question for you. I started a channel that I grew to over 2 million followers. How you doing, sir? Just asking beautiful homeowners a few quick questions on their advice to the younger generation.
Yeah, homeowner likes to keep it very private.
Okay.
I think I've seen your channel, by the way.
Yeah, thank you, bro.
Yeah.
No worries,
So-
man.
sorry about that.
No worries. Have a good one, bro. Although we faced rejection after rejection for hours, right before we decided to call it a day, this happened. I go all over the country. I'm based in Austin, Texas, just asking people a few quick questions on their advice to the younger generation. Could I ask you just a few quick questions up here?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. We'll just come. Awesome. What industry did you decide to pursue a career in?
Software engineering, and then I turned it into marketing.
Are you a business owner now?
Yes.
And how long have you been a business owner for?
I've been running my agency for 9 years.
You've had longevity as an entrepreneur for nearly 10 years now. 90% of businesses don't make it past 5 years. So what would you say is the most common mistake that business owners make that prevents them from having longevity?
Okay, so a couple things. I've run a startup and failed at building a startup. And the company wasn't a huge success. It ended up being acquired, but ultimately, like, it wasn't the multi-billion-dollar company I expected it to be. And in those days, it was like, don't get down on yourself, don't start second guessing yourself, and just keep working at it. Every single day is a new day, and you can do something new with that. You can always keep trying to move forward. And I think that's like the biggest thing is like keep moving forward with everything that you're doing, right? Like if there's a mistake that you made or you don't see sales going the right way, just like keep trying and keep pushing at it and trying to figure out like what you can do to get to that next level, but also like make decisions. I think the biggest thing that's helped me in my career has been I'm very quick to make a decision. I feel like I can make a decision in a split second, and I don't overthink things and don't worry about too many things. I just jump right in. Early on, I always just was like, I hustled. I figured out how to like get stuff done, and I never took any shortcuts, is what I'll say.
You've got great advice. Thank you so much for your time, sir. I appreciate
so
you.
much.
Yeah,
And
of
one last final thing, any advice to someone who wants to own a Porsche one day? This is a multi-$100,000. This is a lot of people's dream car. Any advice?
It's my dream car. When I was a kid, I actually used to always go to the auto show with my dad, and I'd get the 911 posters or like pamphlets or whatever, and I'd hang them up in my room, and it's been my dream car. Just work hard, invest well, save, and go for it.
All right, you guys, my man was driving down the street in the Porsche, and we yelled at him from outside of the car, "Excuse me, sir." We let him know about the channel and what we do, went up to him and asked him some questions, and turns out he was a beast entrepreneur, a marketing multimillionaire, started out as a software engineer, transitioned, now he's a business mogul. So caught him in the Porsche and gave some incredible advice. Shout out to that man right there. Let's get the next one. All right, you guys, we were out in Calabasas in Los Angeles, California. This is one of the wealthiest parts in the entire city. And as I said earlier, man, Los Angeles, this is the number 6 city in the entire world with the most millionaires. We're here at our next multi-million-dollar house out in Calabasas. We're gonna go up to it, see if we can get some game from the owner, figure out how they were able to put themselves in a house like this. Hello, sir. Quick question for you. My 2 friends and I, we started a channel in Austin, Texas that we grew to over 2 million followers. We go all over the country just asking people a few quick questions on their advice to the younger generation of kids starting out in the real world today. We thought you had a beautiful house. Wanted to know if we could ask you a few quick questions for the channel.
Oh, man, I love Austin. Of course, man. I'd love to help you guys out.
That's amazing. Is it cool if we come in? Hey, he opened that up, so. You guys see the Lamborghini, he's got the Aston Martin out. Got a whole bunch of cars. We got to figure out what this guy did to be able to put himself here. How you doing, sir?
Hey, what's up?
Man, you got a beautiful house here.
Thank you.
Are you from Los Angeles originally?
Well, I was born in Colombia. I came here when I was 6 years old.
How did you end up in Los Angeles?
So my parents, they had this dream to come to the U.S. and unfortunately it became a nightmare because 2 weeks after we came to the U.S., our home got raided by law enforcement and both my parents ended up in jail.
How were you able to bounce back from that? Kind of like going through that at an early age. Like what was the turning point that really allowed you to kind of build all of this?
Well, at 10 years old, when they really put my dad away for a long time, I made him a promise that I'd take care of the house. And I became the head of household at 15 years old. And I got a chance to start working early, and then I started hustling.
You got a super nice spot here. This is a multi-million-dollar home. Could we check out the spot a little bit inside?
Check it out.
Awesome. What industry did you decide to pursue a career in?
Home security. I've had that now for 25 years, and I just started a solar company a year and a half ago, which just happens to be the 20th fastest growing company in Inc. 5000 magazine.
How old were you when you started your first business?
I was 21 years old.
21. And how old are you now?
I'm 46.
What's the most amount of money that your business has ever generated in a single year?
It'll be this year. We'll do 200 million.
Scaling is one of the hardest things to do as a business owner. A lot of people, they'll have that great idea, but they don't know how to scale and grow it. So how have you been able to scale to a 9-figure business? business?
It has to come back to influence, right? Because to bring in good people, they have to believe in you. You know, your dream's got to be so big that everybody's dream can fit inside of it. Because again, the good people, they have a lot of options, but you got to take the first step. Faith is really taking action before you have what you need. I remember as soon as I started the home security company, I bought the minivan before I actually had the people. Because we used to go in minivans and I used to fill all of them up and we used to go door to door. I didn't have a team yet, but I bought the minivan knowing that the people were coming. When you put money behind something, that's when you know you're committed. I call it a necessity level. A necessity level is this sudden willingness that untaps this tremendous amount of ability that you didn't know you had. That's why I've always been great at putting myself in pressure situations that increase my urgency level. I believe low stress is low performance. But when you put yourself in these uncomfortable situations, that's when that greatness that lies within comes out.
What's been your secret to sales? You know, you've sold hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue at your company throughout your career, but how have you really been able to land big deals with massive clients over all these years?
I've always gone out of my way to validate the business that I'm in to give me confidence. So like when I started selling home security, going door to door, I would look up articles of home invasions. I would look up fire accidents that were happening. And what that did is it filled me up with belief, with confidence. And that's important because the more certain person will always influence the less certain person. People don't have to believe what you're saying. They have to believe that you believe what you're saying, because everything's a transfer of belief.
You've generated hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue throughout your career. What has been the best financial advice that you've ever received throughout your lifetime?
One of the great things that I did when I first started was I would split my check 3 ways and I would live on a third of it. One would go towards IRS and savings, and then the other one would go towards a reserve account that no one could touch. You could call me and ask me for money. To me, that reserve account did not exist. And that reserve account has always helped me through tough times, because in life and pain are inseparable, and you're gonna have to go through some tough times. Because I like nice things, but being able to cut it 3 ways allowed me not to live outside my means. Right. That said, I was huge on having nice things. It's what made me want to work hard. You know, I wanted to stand out. I wanted to be rare. You know, at 21 years old, I wanted to be the first 21-year-old in my city driving a Mercedes convertible. I didn't want to do it when I was 28, because by then everybody had a Mercedes, right? So just little ways that I would compete against myself. I mean, if you don't come from a rich family can come from you. And I made the decision in my family that I was going to be the one person that changed my family tree forever.
Guys, that's a wrap on today's video. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe for some amazing content coming soon. And everybody click right here to watch us going all around Miami, Florida, asking multimillionaires how you can become successful in today's world.